Well, hello and welcome to Outdoor Oklahoma. I'm Todd Craighead. Now here's a pop quiz for you. What is osteology? And let's be honest, have you even heard of the word before? Well, osteology is the scientific study of bones and skeletal structures. If you've ever been out in the woods and been particularly interested in the discovery of a skull, or maybe you were cleaning a game animal and were fascinated with the skeletal structure of the animal, well then you could be called an amateur osteologist. And for one Oklahoman, that's exactly what happened when at age 7 he discovered a dog skull out in the woods. Now fast forward 40 years from that day, and now Jay's initial intrigue with that dog skull has developed into one of the most successful companies of its kind. And today, his company right here in Oklahoma caters to hunters and museums and universities and scientists all over the world.
I've been collecting bones ever since I was a little boy. I found a dog skull in the woods. My father and I were out in the woods and we saw the carcass of a dog, and he saw my interest, so he told me to collect the skeleton and bring it home, which triggered a lifelong obsession of collecting skulls. I found a cat skull after that, and the differences, but yet the similarities between the two, intrigued me to the point that I just wanted to collect skulls. It was all at a very young age. As I graduated high school, this was in the end of the oil boom, which I like to refer to as an oil bust because I couldn't find employment. I was selling skulls as a hobby, just making a few $100s a month, just tinkering around. So I figured I'd take it one step further, and I founded Skulls Unlimited in 1986.
The processing division of Skulls Unlimited. This is where a customer was to bring their deer in or their other hunting trophies. And beyond this door, we write the specimens up and it gets absorbed into our process. Normally can be finished in about 2 months. Well, as a kid, I was a collector of skulls, and as I grew up, I wanted to start the company, and it never was I never gave any consideration to how big this could get. But it has been a lot of fun. We've been in business for 25 years this month, and so we are having an anniversary here in June. And we're celebrating it the only way we know how, and that's by cleaning more specimens. During hunting season, we process over 1,500 deer in a year. We process close to 1,000 bear in a year. Well, we're not going to show you all the tricks of the trade, but I like to tell folks, we get commonly asked, what is your secret? What is your secret of doing this? And I say our secret is persistence. That is our secret. Most people will give up before they can learn it. So yeah, we're going to show you a lot of things, but we're not going to show you all of the tricks of the trade. This is our bug room. It's one of 2 that we have here in the company. And once a specimen is flensed at these tables, it actually comes over to this sink right here. And this is where the brains are removed. We actually have a suction device here. This machine, when powered up, is a suction device. It'll suck the brains right out of the back of a skull. It's quite the sight to see. And from there, it goes to our bug room racks to dry. And once it's thoroughly dried, it'll enter the colonies. And if you'd like to come back, I'll be happy to show you the beetle room. This is our beetle room here. This is where the tissue is consumed by domestic beetles. As you can see here, this is a domestic dog. You have different stages of beetles. This is the adult here. He does not do hardly any of the consuming of tissue. He's more of worried about making more beetles. In my hand here is some larvae. Whoop, they're going away on me. Here's the larva. The caterpillar-looking guys are the ones that consume the majority of the tissue. There is different stages of beetles, as you might be able to see here. The little bitty ones, these are hatchlings. These just hatched out. And if I give them a little bit of water, they'll come up by the thousands, and you can see a really disturbing sight. Yeah, we claim to have 16 employees, but if you count the domestic beetles, we have, I would say, somewhere in the millions, because it's not even physically possible to count. Here in about a minute, when these beetles get active because of the water, you'll be able to see thousands, if not millions, of beetles. I always hate killing the beetles because you can never get them all off the skulls, so inevitably you're always killing something. And I always feel a little like I'm betraying them. A lot of people will ask how hard is it to keep the beetles, and I like to tell them you're better off to keep a dog than you would the beetles. They require less work. In round figures, we process about 2,000 skulls a month. Some months would be bigger. This is a grouper skeleton. We've been hired by an aquarium to put the skeleton together. We'll have about 65 hours of actual assembling time put into this by the time it's finished. We have about 4 months worth of work just to get it to the point that you see here. So you can see, even though this has been through our beetles, there's still a lot of hand work that has to be done here. Jay will have to go through and start gluing all these bones together and then finish removing the tissue. We intentionally took it out of the beetles early because if we didn't, the beetles would have eaten it completely, and all of these bones would have ended up mixed up, and then it becomes guesswork.
I've been part of the business my entire life. I've been putting skeleton together for probably the last 4 years. I have a picture of me next to, when I was about 4 years old, next to a dead gorilla and cheetah. And it started way before that. But I do remember going out, woke up in the middle of the night to go pick up dead tigers or something like that from local facilities that may have died in the night, and they just needed to come get picked up. So we'd run out there when I was younger and go pick them up, and sometimes even work them right then in the middle of the night. Oh, it's interesting without a doubt, especially starting something like this fish skeleton that really the company has zero experience in doing. So it's kind of just a lot of taking your time, going through it, making sure that you get everything right, and that everything falls right back into place and goes as smoothly as a skeleton that we're more familiar with. And so far, that is the case.
On occasion, we'll see the finished work in the museum. Most of the time, it's when I'm passing through a community and I know we have work in that particular museum, and I'll stop in intentionally to see it. We're doing a right whale skeleton now that we'll be hired to go back to location to help put it on display.
We'll be back to see Jay's lifelong dream come true right after this week's Outdoor News Report. In 2010, Jay built on that highly successful business to fulfill his lifelong dream of opening the Museum of Osteology. And today, thousands of people, including busloads of kids from schools, have had the rare opportunity to experience firsthand the largest privately held collection of osteological specimens in the world.
The Museum of Osteology is our side project. It is a 501c3, and it is located here in Oklahoma City. We have over 300 skeletons on exhibit with probably another 400 skulls representing animals from all corners of the world. We find that most people come as a form of maybe curiosity. We get a lot of school groups that come basically to learn though, but most people when they come, I'm not really sure what they have in mind before they get here, but when they leave, they almost always say, you know, that they did learn something. Did you guys learn anything yet?
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, I'm going to take this opportunity to teach you guys a little bit more about skulls and bones. We're going to look at some teeth of some different skulls that we have here. The teeth of an animal can tell us a lot about how the animal lived its life. Primarily, they can tell us what the animal ate. Now, we eat a lot of different things, don't we?
Yeah.
Raise your hand if you eat vegetables, fruits, okay? And it is basically for education. The whole purpose behind the museum is for education, and through education leading to conservation. So it really is an educational impact, and if you leave the museum not having learned something, then we're not doing our job right. But most people when they leave, they tell us, hey, we didn't think it was going to be quite like this. We didn't really know what to expect, but we really enjoyed it and we really learned a lot.
This is a dream come true. It's been my whole life ambition, not only to teach children by selling skulls to teachers that turn around and use them directly, but now that the museum is up and going and quite successful for the first year, it is a dream come true. It's very rewarding for me to come up here at night and look around and know that today we've had 200 people that left here thoroughly enjoying themselves.
Well, when most groups come to the museum, they start here with, since we are a skeleton museum, we have to kind of start with the obvious, what is a skeleton? So we kind of go into the differences between animals with an endoskeleton or an exoskeleton. Exoskeleton being on the outside of their body. There are a lot of invertebrates that have exoskeletons. And then you get into your vertebrates that have the endoskeletons, and that's what you think of when you think of a skeleton. Different types of mammals, reptiles, amphibians, the bony fish, and birds. Those are all your vertebrates. Yeah, the primate exhibit is probably one of my favorites. It's one that I've spent the most amount of time on. I built all of the trees, kind of set forth where the individual specimens would be placed. I even put together one of the skeletons. So basically, yeah, probably the primate exhibit is one of my favorite exhibits. It does tell the difference. It teaches the difference between your New World primates, those found in Central and South America, versus your Old World primates from Africa and Asia. And we have some very unique specimens in here, animals that a lot of people have probably never heard of. Things like the poto or the sifaka or the tarsier. Most people are saying, well, what are those? Those are various types of primates that are found in other parts of the world. And primates have always held a large fascination for me.
Well, I found my first skull in the woods at the age of 7. I went running back to my father, thinking that I found a dead human body. Well, he went with me, we looked at the bones, and he saw my sincere interest in the bones. He saw my fascination. I like to remind parents that my father could have just as easily have told me to put that dirty bone down and get away from it and just come on with him. Instead, he saw my interest, he encouraged me to go out and collect skulls, and I would like to remind every parent to do the very same thing. I could have taken a whole different road in my life, and I really enjoy what I do today. It's very satisfying to me, and if I can teach one child, it's all well worth it to me.
This is our Oklahoma wildlife exhibit where we focus specifically on Oklahoma species. And one thing that we like to point out to people is that every specimen that's in this exhibit actually came from Oklahoma. These are animals that live their whole entire life in Oklahoma and were either found as roadkill. Some of them were donated from local wardens from confiscated animals, some of them from local trappers and hunters, but every single animal in here originated in Oklahoma. And we try to focus on a variety, not only the mammals, but the birds as well. We have some reptiles. We plan on adding an awful lot of specimens as time goes by. We would like to get a roadrunner to represent one of the state's more notable birds. We would like to get an armadillo put together and put in here. We do have a lot of specimens in here that represent our state symbols as well. Lizard tail, the bison, we have the collared lizard. Those are some of the state symbols, as well as some of the flowers, the insects that we have hiding in here. So this is truly an Oklahoma wildlife exhibit, and it is probably one of the ones that people are most drawn to, just because they're familiar with these animals. It seems like a lot of people go about their daily life and they live in their house and they go to the grocery store and they go to their job, and they don't really experience a whole lot of nature unless they intentionally seek it out. And when you go out into nature, if you're not aware of what you're seeing or what to look for, I think the impact is a little less than if you really know what animals you're looking at or looking for signs that animals leave behind. And we try to incorporate some of that information into our exhibits as well. The beaver chewing on the log, some of the different nests and things that we've included. Those are animal signs that animals leave behind. And just because you don't see any wildlife when you go out to the edge of a park or out into the woods somewhere, doesn't mean that there isn't wildlife there if you know what to look for. And we think that through education and spreading more of that knowledge, how these animals live their life, how they impact our lives, it can lead to a greater appreciation for the species and for the animals, not only the ones that we find in our backyard, but all throughout the state of Oklahoma and the world, that it will eventually lead to their conservation as well.
I don't know what the plans for the future are. Joey, our education director, his plan is to take over the rest of this property, move the company out into its own building. He might be right. It might be a few years from now, but right now my plans is just to start reaping the reward of what I've worked so hard at. I just want to calm down for a while. It's been 7 long years building the museum, and I think it's just time to go slow now and enjoy it.
Yeah, we would like to invite anybody who is interested in nature and wildlife, whether it be Oklahoma wildlife from around the world, anybody who's just interested in learning something about animals or their skeletal structures, to come on out to the museum and check it out. It really is affordable, and I think everybody who makes it out will be pleasantly surprised.
Well, whether you're a hunter looking for, say, a unique way to display a trophy, or you're just naturally intrigued with bones, we hope we've opened your eyes a little today to the fascinating world of osteology. Stay connected with us and follow us on Facebook and Twitter. For all of us at your wildlife department, I'm Todd Craighead, and we'll see you right here next time on Outdoor Oklahoma.